This is a message to the veterans of the United Kingdom. Whether you're in England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and even the Republic of Ireland, even further afield, many of you, and I would have included myself in this. When I first left the military many years ago, I did 7 years in the mid 80s and early 90s, and back then the only thing that came anywhere near a war was Northern Ireland, and I came here as an 18-year-old, married a girl from here, and I've been living here ever since. But the reality is, when you first come out of the military, you feel lost, and that doesn't go away. In fact, to a great extent, it never goes away, because when you were in the military, you had purpose, you had a mission, you knew what you were doing, you were there to protect your country, you were there to fight for your country, and if necessary, die for your country and die for your mates on either side of you. That's how we were trained. And when you've done active service, and again, compared with Afghanistan and certain missions in Iraq, Northern Ireland was not at the same level. The intensity was nowhere near the same, but there was still threat, there was still danger, and there was still a lot of people getting killed and injured when I came to the province. The reality is, when you leave the service, and this is going to sound weird to a lot of civilians, you never get the same camaraderie and, I don't know whether you call it buzz or adrenaline or whatever it is, as you get when you're actually on active service, and when you're putting your life on the line, and you know that you could be killed, you know there could be terrorist attacks at any time. And that's what Northern Ireland was like back in the mid 80s, early 90s. There was genuine risk, and there was genuine menace, and soldiers thrive off that. And when you leave that, I think a lot of the problems that soldiers have, of course there's problems with PTSD and all that sort of stuff, but I think a lot of the problems that soldiers have is they just feel lost. They just have no sense of purpose. And again, I tried loads of things: martial arts, boxing, all sorts of different hobbies and sports. And of course, you settle back into family life, and that's massively important. But the reality is, once you've been a soldier, if you were made to be a soldier, once you've been a soldier, you're always a soldier. You always want to fight. You're always a warrior, particularly if you're in the infantry. And that never leaves you. So I'm going to be honest here about part of the reason that I'm in the movement. Not the only reason by any means, but certainly part of the reason that I've stuck at this so long is because this is a fight, like being in the military. This is fighting for your country. If you stand on the street and stand with us when we do our events and we do our demonstrations and we do our protests, you have a sense of purpose. You have a sense of that I'm fighting for my country again. You see, once you sign that oath of allegiance, it never expires, not in my book. And this isn't a physical fight, this is a spiritual fight, it's an ideological fight, it's a fight of ideas. It's a battle where turning up is a massive part of the battle, and putting your neck on the line. I remember the first time I did a Veterans Against Terrorism event in September 2017, and I made a speech. And of course, I could do public speaking. I preached in churches for years. You know, I used to preach on the street, so I knew how to hold a crowd and how to speak publicly. But after that event, I went to Gatwick Airport, same day. Was in and out in 48 hours. Went to Gatwick Airport, sat down in Gatwick Airport, and thought, what have I done? What have I done? But do you know what? When we have these events, do you know what all the veterans can do? Now, I'm not into wearing medals because I've only got one for Northern Ireland. So I've got medal envy as well as YouTube envy. So if I do an event and there's loads of people with a full chest of medals and I'm there with my one medal, you know. But the reality is, there's a lot of veterans that's done a lot of time, and I know that you believe in what we believe. I know you support what we support, and if for no other reason, if you're feeling lost and you want to do something for your country, on the 26th of October, put your lid on if you got one, I don't have one anymore. Put your berry on, put your medals on, and come down to the event. We haven't put the location out yet because we're going to keep all that quiet until the end to try and stop the lefties doing anything silly. But come and stand with us. Identifying as a veteran and also identifying with somebody who wants to save the country from the chaos that is going to come upon us. If you're a veteran, your oath of allegiance has not run out, and it's time to stand up, and you will enjoy it. You'll enjoy the camaraderie. You'll enjoy the sense of purpose. You'll enjoy the feeling that we are really doing something to save our country. And dare I say it, what you do when you join the movement now, I'm going to say this, will be more important than anything you did in your military service. And that's not disregarding any service that people did. But saving your own country within your own country is far more important than anything that any of us ever did when we were in the military. So I'll see you, veterans. Let's see you all on the 26th of October.